Hi y'all. I thought I'd get on here and do a short video and share some information. It's kind of embarrassing information, but it's also some information that's good news stuff. Anyway, um, a lot of y'all know me as a former public school social studies teacher and football coach, etc. And along those lines of being a teacher, what I want to share today has nothing to do with me being any smarter than anybody else. It has to do with me sharing information that I've run across and I think has some merit and should be shared. And that to me is kind of like what teachers do. That's the education process, I think. And I think it applies across all kinds of fields. You run across information that somebody else has already explored and built upon, and then you run from there. And I think that's kind of the way I look at the whole teaching process. So anyway, I'm kind of sharing today along those lines, but what it has to do with is me becoming a plant-based eater, which is strange, I know, but at this point I'm down 94 pounds. I've lost 94 pounds from my all-time peak. And I feel good. I'm amazed. I'm amazed about how easy it was to do. I retired about 7 years ago now, and at that point I decided to do something different as far as dietary guidelines. All my life I'd been kind of a chunky guy, and all the way from chunky all the way to obese as one at certain points in my adult life. And I'm embarrassed to even say that. On the other hand, I think I've figured out the best track for me. And it may be the best track for you, I have no idea. But it's information that I want to share, and you do with it what you will, if you do anything with it. But anyway, I'm doing it in that spirit, not to say that I'm smarter than anybody else, because trust me, as a teacher, teacher and a coach, I ran across many students who I would say are equally, if not infinitely more intelligent than me, but I was sharing information that I had encountered, run across in my lifetime, and let them do what they want to do with that. But anyway, try to make a long story short here. So anyway, about 7 years ago, I thought, well, I've tried the Atkins diet, I've tried Weight Watchers, I never tried the keto thing, but I know that's pretty popular now. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's kind of like a repackaged version of the Atkins diet. But all my life I've looked at different things and had some success in some areas, and then of course it flops. But about 7 years ago, I thought, well, I have nothing to lose at this point in my life, especially. So I'm going to explore this plant-based thing, and if I don't like it, I can change in one day if that's what I want to do. But so I tested the waters, and the first thing I did was I just quit eating animals, period. For 7 years now, I haven't had one bite of beef, pork, poultry, or seafood in 7 years, not one bite. So that made me a vegetarian. The bad news is I was still eating dairy products and eggs, cheese, ice cream, of course, eggs, 2 or 3 times a week probably. But having explored more and more about the issue now, I realized that, yeah, it was a good deal to quit eating animals. I mean, that helped me. It helped me a bunch. It got me started. But the bad news is, the more I explored, I found, oh my God, why am I still eating eggs? Why am I still eating dairy products of any sort? So, for the last couple of years now, I've been a vegan. And so I don't eat eggs anymore. I don't have any dairy products anymore. And so I'm full-fledged, I guess, what you call vegan now. Whole food, plant-based is I think the secret for all of us. And I think it's a more natural thing. We're just programmed and indoctrinated through our society to not look at it that way. But I'll share some names, and I'll link some stuff to this video when I finish as resources for the technical, medical angles on all of this. I've shared some before on posts on Facebook and so forth, but not in depth and not as in depth as these can be. If you get curious and want to pursue it, and I'm not saying anybody has to do this or should do that or whatever. I'm not going to approach it that way. I'm just sharing with you what a difference it's made for me, and I don't see ever changing back. I can't imagine that I would, or nor why I would feel like I wanted to. I will share with you this: there's nobody on the planet who ever enjoyed a bowl or a bucket of ice cream more than me. That person does exist. Same thing, Mexican food. I love Mexican food, and now I know that I can modify a little bit, adjust a little bit, tweak it here and there, and I can still have Mexican food as a vegan, believe it or not. And if you get curious and decide to explore this whole thing, then I think you'll be shocked at how many options you do have, and you still don't have to eat animals or dairy and eggs, so forth and so on. So it's up to you. Do what you want. Basically, people decide to do the plant-based eating thing for one of three reasons. Essentially, it boils down to that. First one is health, which is what got me into it. That's what got my feet wet in the whole realm. It was health. I thought, well, I am sure enough getting old, and I haven't tried this particular angle. So let me explore it. So, the health thing was the very first thing that was my reason why. Trying to stave off the Grim Reaper, that's essentially what it was. And I still feel that way. The second reason people explore the whole realm is the animal abuse angle of the things that people eat. And it's not just in America, it's all over the world, and if you really, the bottom line is, if you're really an animal lover, then, you kind of between a rock and a hard place when it comes to eating those kinds of products. And of course, in the dairy industry, the incredible abuse that happens with the dairy cattle, it's ugly. Now, there's some things I can refer you to look it up and see, but it's not the image that you have from different dairy products about, 3 or 4 cattle out here in a very peaceful, quaint setting, with not a care in the world but to graze, and they get milked once a morning by some dedicated farmer. That ain't the dairy industry, folks. It is not. It's the image they want us to take of the dairy industry. But anyway, so again, health, the first reason people explore the plant-based eating thing. Second is the animal cruelty. Basically, there's no other way to say it. The animal cruelty that's involved in eating those products other than plant-based. And then the third one, believe it or not, and I don't have off the top of my head, I can look it up, I can tell you exactly, but the numbers relative to our ecological system, our environment, the health of the planet, essentially, is tremendously connected to livestock production. The numbers are incredible. I wish I could remember off the top of my head, but I don't have it on hand. But it's out there, and I'll give you some references to some things, to some videos and stuff to look at, either on Netflix or YouTube. Those are both good sources, depending on which one we're looking for. But they're both good sources for some of the video things to support what I'm talking about. Again, like the ecological impact of livestock production and the production of food products from the animal sources. So anyway, again, just going to lay some stuff out here. The people I really rely on are medical doctors who have chosen within their profession, have decided within their profession to focus on preventing health issues that Americans develop, and others around the world, that are developed based on the customary dietary choices, the things we grew up with. Good grief, my mom and my grandma, my gosh, could they cook? I'm telling you. That answers a whole lot of questions for me about my struggles with health issues, or not health issues, but my weight problem. etc. So again, not proud of all that, but I'm just trying to be honest and share some information that might help you down the road. Before I forget, one more thing that pops into my head. It's proven and officially United States agencies have officially called it that processed meats are as much a carcinogen as smoking cigarettes. So how could you possibly still? I probably shouldn't put it this way. I have no children, never have had any children, but how can you possibly, with your own child, offer them frankfurters, sausages, pepperoni, and sausage pizza, etc., etc.? Those are carcinogen products. I mean, the science is there, and the government admits it, but they still sell it. Oh, it's okay. Just have a hot dog, no problem. I can't even comprehend that. If I had any children or grandchildren, the last thing I would do would be offer them a hot dog. No, I might as well just, here, have a pack of cigarettes while you're at it. That is so illogical to me and irrational. It just makes no sense. And you just got to stop and think a smidgen, to explore the science part of it for your health reasons and the health of your progeny. But anyway. So again, the people I really follow and look to for advice and information on this topic are medical doctors who have chosen in their profession to focus on preventing health issues that are killing Americans right and left. They all looked at their situation as a medical doctor and said, what can I do to maybe attack this a different way, to keep people from getting diabetes, to keep people from developing heart disease, or even better, backtrack it and reduce it, which is actually possible. That it really works that way. It's amazing. And again, I'll link some stuff to you. Some of the doctors that I can off the top of my head rattle off that you can find online, and I'll link what I can to you. Dr. Neil Bernard and Dr. Jim Loomis of the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. They do a YouTube cast every single day, Monday through Friday, hosted by Chuck Carroll, the weight loss champion. He's a cat too. He's very, very good at what he does. But those doctors are the people who put that committee together. And there's some other doctors involved too. But those are the two names that always stick with me and pop in my head. Another one is Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn. These are all medical doctors, by the way, who chose to take a different route with their profession. And Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn is an outstanding, amazing persona in this field of plant-based eating, and chose in his career to focus a different direction with it to try to prevent health issues instead of treat health issues. Dr. James Clapper, another one. Dr. Milton Mills, very big on the dairy thing. They all are, but that one part really stands out with him. There are some others that are not popping in my head right now, but anyway, I'll link as much as I can to this video for you to research yourself and see what you think. Videos that I would recommend immediately. Again, I think Netflix and YouTube, I think, are both good sources for them. I think, but I'll put the links. What the Health is the first one that I watched that really reinforced everything I seem to be finding from these medical experts, and just lays it all out to you. Just amazing turnarounds for people with their health, not just weight loss, but health issues in general. So What the Health is a really, really well done documentary about this whole process. And it covers some of the same things that I was talking about. It covers some of the areas about health issues, of course, but also about the animal issues and the environmental issues. So What the Health is probably the first one I recommend, probably first one. Another one would be Forks Over Knives. Some of you may have seen their publication at the grocery store stands, by the checkout stands. What the Forks Over Knives is I think it comes out quarterly in a print issue, but there's a documentary called Forks Over Knives that is incredibly revealing about the issues I'm talking about. Another one that's kind of hard to watch, and this one's about a 2-hour long video, if I remember right, called Dominion. And it's tough to watch because I think this one was filmed in New Zealand, I believe, maybe Australia, one of those two. It's where it was filmed, but it covers the whole spectrum of what happens in the production of different animal products in this realm. Everything from chickens to different kinds of fish, to the beef industry, of course, to the dairy industry, of course, et cetera, and others that you may not even think about along those lines. For instance, in some countries, it's legal to eat horse meat. They talk about that a little bit too. I'm gonna tell you, it's tough to watch. But if you watch 10 minutes of it, you'll get the gist. You don't have to watch all 2 hours. I did watch all 2 hours, but I had to break it up. I watched it like 20 minutes at a time because it is very moving and tough to watch. But anyway, I don't know. I guess that's really all I have to say about this, but I hope you'll at least consider asking yourself some questions about it. You know, like, is this a good idea for me or is it not? And again, the first thing for me was some weight loss thing and to lose some weight and keep it off, period. And my whole life, I've never found anything better. And it's really not that difficult. It really isn't. Like I said, the first thing I did was I became vegetarian. I quit eating animals, period.